As twilight embraces the world in its serene shroud, and stars begin to adorn the velvet sky, let us journey together into a realm woven from the threads of magic and whispers of forgotten tales. Close your eyes, breathe deeply, and allow your imagination to unfurl its wings. Feel the cares of the day drift away like leaves on a gentle stream as we enter a land far beyond the reach of the ordinary, where mirrors reflect not just images, but the truth of our hearts. Tonight, on our channel, we invite you to the kingdom of Veridia, a place where harmony blooms under the golden sun, and shadows hold secrets waiting to be revealed. Relax, let go, and drift with me into a story of courage, truth, and the power of reflection. This is Mirror Lies. Chapter 1. The Curse of False Reflections. Once upon a time, in a land far beyond the reach of the ordinary, lay the kingdom of Veridia. This realm was unlike any other, flourishing under the warmth of a golden sun and blessed with the richest of soils. Rivers meandered through the verdant landscape like silver threads, and forests stood tall, whispering the ancient secrets of the earth. Veridia was a kingdom of harmony and prosperity, where truth and honesty were the cornerstones of its foundation. At the heart of Veridia stood a magnificent castle, its spires reaching towards the sky, a testament to the kingdom's grandeur and its ruler's wisdom. Within its highest tower, a unique mirror was kept, an heirloom of untold power that reflected not just images, but the truth of one's heart. It was said that this mirror was the source of Veridia's peace, guiding its leaders with its unerring insight. The people of Veridia lived contented lives, their days filled with laughter and hard work, secure in the knowledge that honesty prevailed above all. Neighbors trusted neighbors, and friends stood by each other. For in Veridia, one's word was one's bond. Yet, even in the most idyllic of places, shadows linger in wait, and peace, however cherished, can be fragile. Not far from the borders of Veridia, in a place where the light of the sun seldom reached, lived a witch. This witch, once a dweller within Veridia's light, had been exiled many years ago, not for her magic, but for her deceit. Spite had taken root in her heart, growing as vast and twisted as the dark forest she called home. As the years passed, her resentment towards Veridia and its king, who had decreed her exile, curdled into a venomous grudge. She sought to corrupt the very essence of what Veridia stood for, to mar its beauty with deceit and mistrust. Under the cloak of a moonless night, she weaved her dark enchantments, summoning the forces of deception and falsehood. With a voice that crackled like dry leaves, she cast a curse upon Veridia, a curse so vile and cunning that it would turn the kingdom's virtue against itself. "Let the reflections lie," she whispered into the darkness. "Let what is seen be the opposite of truth, and may confusion reign in the hearts once filled with trust." Her words, like a malignant wave, swept across the kingdom, invisible yet potent. And as the first light of dawn touched the edges of Veridia, a new era began, one where reflections twisted the truth, sowing chaos where there once was peace. As the first rays of dawn crept over the kingdom of Veridia, a silence, heavy and foreboding, settled over the land. The people rose, as they did every morning, unaware that the day would be unlike any other. In every home, from the humblest cottage to the grandest mansion, the inhabitants approached their mirrors, only to recoil in horror at what they saw. Faces, once familiar, were twisted into grotesque parodies. Smiles turned to sneers, and eyes that once sparkled with joy glared back with malice. The reflection, that reliable testament to one's appearance and soul, lied. The curse of the witch, woven with spite and darkness, had turned every mirror, every reflective surface, into a pool of deceit. Panic spread like wildfire. People rushed into the streets, seeking solace in the eyes of their neighbors, only to find suspicion and fear. Friends could not recognize friends, and families stared at strangers where their loved ones should have been. In the castle, the king faced his own horror. His reflection showed not the just and kind ruler he strived to be, but a tyrant, cruel and cold. He watched, powerless, as his face in the mirror sneered at him, a stark reminder of the witch's revenge. The day the mirrors lied marked the beginning of chaos in Veridia. Trust, that delicate thread that held the community together, frayed under the weight of doubt and confusion. The kingdom's foundation of honesty and transparency crumbled, leaving its people lost in a maze of their own fears and suspicions. The initial shock of the cursed reflections gave way to a deeper, more insidious turmoil. In Veridia, where one's word was as good as gold, the lies reflected back at them sowed seeds of discord. Accusations flew as individuals, seeing the worst in their reflections, projected these fears onto others. Merchants accused customers of cheating. Lovers doubted faithful partners, and children feared the twisted faces of their parents. The streets, once filled with the harmonious chatter of a close-knit community, echoed with arguments and accusations. The king, in his wisdom, sought to calm his people, declaring the reflections false, the work of dark magic. Yet, even as he spoke, His image in the mirrors around the kingdom mimicked his movements with a sinister twist, undermining his words. As the days passed, the curse showed no sign of waning. The people of Veridia, once proud of their integrity, found themselves questioning not just those around them, but their own selves. The mirrors, once symbols of truth, became harbingers of doubt. Amidst the growing chaos, a young girl named Lily watched with a heavy heart. Unlike the others, she did not avoid her reflection, instead studying it with a thoughtful gaze. She knew deep within that the solution to the curse lay not in the mirrors, but in understanding and confronting the darkness behind them. In the grand hall of the castle, the king stood before his council, a man shadowed by the weight of his crown. Around him, the air was thick with tension, the room filled with advisors, magicians, and scholars, each proposing solutions to the curse that had befallen Veridia. Yet, for all their wisdom and magic, none could offer a remedy to mend the fractured trust among his people. As night fell, the king retired to his private chambers, the echoes of the day's quarrels heavy in his heart. He gazed into the cursed mirror, his reflection a constant reminder of his failure to protect his kingdom from the witch's vengeance. The man in the mirror was a king defeated, overwhelmed by the chaos that threatened to consume his beloved Veridia. In the quiet solitude of his room, the king's thoughts turned to despair. The strength of arms could not fight this battle, nor could the wisdom found in books unweave the spell that had ensnared his kingdom. The solution lay beyond the reach of conventional means, in a place where courage and honesty shone brighter than the darkest magic. With a heavy heart, the king made a decree. He called upon the people of Veridia, offering a reward to anyone who could lift the curse. His voice, laden with the burden of his office, carried a simple message. In our darkest hour, let the light of truth guide us. In a small house at the edge of the kingdom, Lily, a girl of no more than 16 summers, listened to the king's decree. Unlike many who had succumbed to despair, Lily's spirit remained unbroken, her mind alight with the possibility of undoing the witch's curse. She believed, with the innocence and strength of youth, that where there was will, there was a way. Lily had always been fascinated by puzzles and mysteries, her curiosity a beacon that now led her to ponder the curse. She realized that if the curse could be cast through malice and spite, then perhaps it could be undone with honesty and courage. Determined, Lily approached her parents with a plan. "I will go to the witch," she declared, her voice steady with resolve. "I will find her and ask her to reverse the curse. There must be goodness in her heart, a sliver of light in the darkness. I will find it and bring back the truth that has been stolen from us. Her parents, fearful yet proud, could not deter her. They knew Lily possessed a rare gift, an unyielding faith in the goodness of others, and a courage that belied her years. And so, with nothing but the clothes on her back and a heart full of hope, Lily set out on her quest. She ventured into the unknown, guided by tales of old and the whispers of the wind, seeking the witch's lair. Her journey would take her beyond the boundaries of Veridia, into the depths of the forbidden forest, a place where few dared to tread. Lily's quest was more than a search for the witch. It was a quest for understanding, for the power of truth and honesty to overcome the shadows of deceit. In her heart, she carried the light of Veridia, a beacon in the darkness that sought to reclaim the reflections stolen by the curse. Chapter 2: The Quest for Truth. As Lily ventured further from the familiar paths of Veridia, the shadows of the forbidden forest began to close in around her. The towering trees whispered secrets in a language only the wind understood, and the ground beneath her feet seemed to shift with each hesitant step. This was a place of magic, ancient and untamed, a realm where the boundaries between truth and falsehood blurred. Lily's heart, though brave, was not immune to the creeping tendrils of doubt. The reflection she had seen in the mirror that morning haunted her steps. It showed a girl racked with fear, her eyes wide and unseeing, a stark contrast to the determination that fueled her journey. Am I truly as brave as I believe? Or is that just another lie? She pondered, the weight of her task bearing down on her. The villagers' warnings echoed in her ears, tales of those who entered the forest and never returned, their fates sealed by the witch's dark magic. With each rustle in the underbrush, Lily's resolve flickered like a candle in the wind. Yet, it was not the fear of what lurked in the shadows that troubled her most, but the fear of failing her kingdom and proving her doubters right. As she journeyed deeper, the sun's rays struggled to penetrate the dense canopy above, casting everything in a perpetual twilight. It was in this gloom that Lily's true challenge emerged, not the monsters of old wives' tales, but the battle within herself. She recalled the words of her mother, spoken in the soft light of dawn on the day of her departure. "Courage is not the absence of fear, Lily," she had said, her hand resting gently on her daughter's shoulder. "It is the choice to move forward, even when fear claws at your heart." Emboldened by these words, Lily pressed on, her steps growing more confident. She began to see the forest not as a place of danger, but as a testament to the resilience of life, a reminder that even in the darkest of times, growth and renewal were possible. The mistrust of others, which had once threatened to cloud her judgment, fell away. She realized that the deceit reflected in the mirrors back home was not a true measure of her heart or the hearts of those around her. The only reflection that mattered was the one that lived in her actions and intentions. With newfound determination, Lily faced the depths of the forest, ready to confront whatever lay ahead. Her doubts, though not entirely vanquished, were held at bay by the strength of her conviction. She knew the path would be fraught with challenges, but she also knew that within her lay the power to overcome them. In this moment of self-discovery, Lily understood that the quest for truth was as much about finding herself as it was about saving her kingdom. The fear reflected in the mirror was a part of her, but it did not define her. She was more than her fears, more than the sum of others' doubts. She was Lily of Veridia, bearer of hope and seeker of truth. The forbidden forest, a name whispered with fear and awe, lay shrouded in mystery and veiled by ancient magic. It was here that Lily found herself, her heart aflutter with both trepidation and a sense of purpose. This dense, dark woodland was rumored to be the witch's sanctuary, a place where shadows moved of their own accord, and the air hummed with unseen power. As Lily ventured deeper, the forest seemed to awaken, the trees bending slightly, as if to observe this intruder in their midst. Each step she took was met with the crackle of twigs underfoot, breaking the heavy silence that hung like a cloak around her. Despite the foreboding atmosphere, Lily's resolve did not waver. Armed with naught but her wit and an unwavering courage, she pressed on, her eyes alert to the hidden dangers that might lurk in the shadows. The further she traveled, the more the forest seemed to challenge her. Thorns grasped at her clothes like hands trying to hold her back, and eerie sounds echoed between the trees, voices of the forest's unseen inhabitants. Yet, Lily noticed a strange beauty amidst the darkness. Flowers that shone with an inner light dotted the underbrush, and the air was filled with the sweet scent of unknown blossoms. It was a place of magic, both dark and light, where the line between the real and the fantastical blurred. Suddenly, Lily stumbled upon a clearing where the sunlight broke through the dense canopy, casting dappled shadows on the forest floor. In the center stood an ancient oak, its branches twisted into the sky as if reaching for something unseen. The sight stopped Lily in her tracks. There was an aura of ancient wisdom about the place, a sense of time standing still. It was here, under the watchful gaze of the ancient oak, that Lily encountered her first test. A creature stepped out from the shadow of the trees, its eyes gleaming with a curious light. It was neither beast nor human, but something in between. A guardian of the forest, perhaps, or a figment of the magic that permeated the air. "Do you seek the witch, child of man?" it asked, its voice a whisper on the wind. Lily, though startled, did not falter. "I seek to end a curse that has brought suffering to my people," she replied, her voice steady. The creature regarded her for a long moment, as if weighing her words against some unseen scale. "Then you must be prepared to face the truths you seek," it said finally. "The forest will test you, as will the witch. Not all is as it seems, and not all truths are kind." With those cryptic words, the creature vanished as suddenly as it had appeared, leaving Lily alone once more. Yet, the encounter had strengthened her resolve. She understood that the journey ahead would demand more than courage. It would require her to face truths, perhaps uncomfortable ones, about herself and the world around her. As Lily continued through the forest, each step took her deeper into the unknown. The challenges she faced, the twisting paths, the deceptive shadows, and the whispers in the dark were but preparations for what lay ahead. She was venturing into the heart of darkness, armed with nothing but her courage and her quest for truth. The forbidden forest, with its ancient magic and hidden dangers, was not just a barrier to be crossed. It was a crucible, shaping her, testing her, preparing her for the confrontation with the witch. Lily knew that to save her kingdom, she must first survive the forest and all its trials. With each step, she grew stronger, her determination fueled by the love she bore for her people and the hope that she could restore the light of truth to Veridia. In the heart of the forbidden forest, where sunlight seldom touched the ground, lay a lake as still as glass. Its waters were clear as crystal, mirroring the sky above and the ancient trees that stood guard around its perimeter. This was the Lake of Whispers, a place of power and prophecy, known only to those who were meant to find it. As Lily emerged from the dense thicket into the clearing, her eyes fell upon the lake, and she felt an immediate sense of calm wash over her. The air here was different, charged with a magic that made her skin tingle and her heart beat a little faster. She approached the water's edge, drawn by an inexplicable force. "Hello?" she called tentatively, her voice barely above a whisper. In response, the surface of the lake began to ripple, not from the touch of wind, but as if the water itself sought to communicate. Then, a voice, soft and melodic, seemed to emanate from the lake itself. "Lily of Veridia," it said, "seeker of truths, what is it that you desire?" Lily knelt by the water's edge, her reflection staring back at her. Not twisted by curse, but clear and true. "I wish to end the curse that plagues my kingdom," she replied. "I seek the witch to understand her anger and undo the harm she has caused." The lake was silent for a moment, the stillness around her deepening. Then the voice spoke again, carrying with it the weight of ages. "The path you walk is fraught with challenges, Lily. The witch you seek is bound by her own pain, her actions a reflection of a heart long broken. But how do I find her? How do I convince her to lift the curse?" Lily asked, her heart heavy with the magnitude of her task. "The answers you seek lie within you, Lily," the lake whispered. "Look beyond the reflections, for they are but surfaces. True change comes from understanding and compassion. Show the witch the reflection of her own heart, healed and whole." As the voice faded, the lake bestowed upon Lily a vision. She saw the witch, not as a figure of darkness, but as a woman lost in grief, her actions driven by a desire for recognition and love. The vision shifted, revealing a path through the forest, lit by the soft glow of moonlight, leading to the witch's lair. When the vision ended, Lily found herself alone once more, the lake's surface calm, as if the encounter had never occurred. Yet, the guidance she had received was etched in her heart, a beacon to light her way. With a newfound understanding, Lily rose to her feet. The Lake of Whispers had revealed secrets long hidden and provided her with unexpected guidance. She knew now that the journey ahead was not one of confrontation, but of healing. She must reach out to the witch with empathy to offer a path to redemption for them both. As Lily left the lake behind, the whispers of the water seemed to follow her, a gentle reminder of the power of compassion and the strength that lies in understanding the pain of others. She was no longer just a seeker of truths. She was a bearer of hope, tasked with mending a heart as broken as the kingdom she sought to save. Guided by the moon's gentle glow and the wisdom of the Lake of Whispers, Lily pressed on through the forbidden forest. The path, once obscured by shadow and doubt, now lay clear before her, each step marked by a determination that had grown within her heart. It was on this path, as the night deepened and the stars danced above, that Lily encountered the guardian of the path, a creature as ancient as the forest itself. The guardian, with eyes that mirrored the night sky, stood before her, its presence commanding yet not threatening. "Lily of Veridia," it spoke, its voice echoing the rustle of leaves in the wind. "To reach the witch and seek the end of your quest, a riddle you must best." Lily nodded, her resolve unwavering. "I am ready," she declared, the lessons of the lake still fresh in her heart. "Listen well," the guardian began, "for the riddle speaks of truth and deception, the very essence of the curse that plagues your land. In the mirror's face, you see what's not, a world reversed, a truth forgot. To break the spell and heal the heart, where does the image end? Where does it start? Seek the place where reflections part." Lily pondered the words, their meaning dancing just beyond her grasp. She thought of the cursed mirrors back home, of the reflections that lied, showing not what was true, but what was feared. "Where does the image end? Where does it start?" she repeated, her mind racing through the possibilities. Then, in a flash of insight, the answer came to her. "The mirror's edge," she exclaimed, "the place where the reflection meets reality, where the image ends and begins. That is where the spell can be broken, at the boundary between truth and illusion." The guardian regarded her, a twinkle of approval in its starry eyes. "Wise you are, Lily of Veridia. The witch's lair you seek lies beyond the mirror's edge, in the space between reflections. Proceed with an open heart, for it is not just the witch you must confront, but the reflections within yourself." With a bow of its head, the guardian stepped aside, revealing a path that shimmered like the surface of a lake, inviting her to step through. Lily took a deep breath, bolstered by the riddle's solution and the knowledge that her journey was nearing its crucial moment. With a final glance at the forest that had taught her so much, she stepped forward, crossing the threshold into the space between reflections. As she walked, the world around her seemed to blur, the forest melting away to reveal a landscape undefined by the laws of the physical world. It was a realm of mirrors, of endless reflections that twisted and turned. Yet Lily walked with a purpose, her heart a steady beacon guiding her steps. Finally, she emerged from the maze of mirrors into a clearing bathed in moonlight, where the witch's lair, a cottage twisted by magic and sorrow, awaited. It was here, at the heart of the curse, that Lily would face her greatest challenge, armed with the knowledge and courage she had gathered along her journey. The riddle of the reflect had led her to this moment, a step closer to breaking the curse that held her kingdom in thrall. But more than that, it had revealed the power of understanding, of looking beyond the surface to find the truth that lies beneath. As Lily approached the witch's lair, the air grew thick with a foreboding chill, a palpable sign that the final leg of her journey would be the most perilous yet. The moon hung low in the sky, casting a silver light over the twisted cottage that seemed to pulsate with a life of its own. The forest around her had fallen eerily silent, as if the very trees held their breath in anticipation of the impending confrontation. Yet, it was not the silence nor the sight of the lair that stilled Lily's heart, but the gathering shadows that crept around her, manifesting as fears made flesh. These were not mere phantoms of the night, but the embodiment of the dark forces that had thrived under the witch's curse, eager to quench the light of hope that Lily carried. Whispers slithered through the air, voices that sought to sow doubt in her mind. "Turn back," they hissed. "You cannot win against the darkness. Your quest is folly, and you will meet your end here in the shadow of your failure." But Lily, fortified by the trials she had faced and the truths she had uncovered, pressed on. She knew these voices for what they were, the last desperate attempts of the curse to protect itself from the light of truth she aimed to bring forth. With every step, she reaffirmed her resolve, the lessons of the Lake of Whispers echoing in her heart. True change comes from understanding and compassion, she reminded herself, her voice a beacon in the darkness. As she drew closer, the shadows converged into forms more menacing, shapes of despair and malice that moved to block her path. It was then that Lily remembered the guardian's words. "Proceed with an open heart, for it is not just the witch you must confront, but the reflections within yourself." With a deep breath, Lily reached into the core of her being, where her purest intentions and hopes resided. She spoke, not in defiance, but in an appeal to the humanity that lay buried beneath the curse. "I do not come to destroy, but to heal. I seek to end the suffering, not just of my people, but of the one who has suffered the longest under the weight of her own spell." To her amazement, the shadows hesitated, their forms wavering as if confused by the compassion in her words. It was a compassion born not out of naivety, but of strength, a willingness to see beyond the surface, to understand the pain that had led to the curse. And then, as suddenly as they had appeared, the shadows began to dissipate, melting away into the night from whence they came. The path to the witch's lair lay open, the final barrier lifted not by force, but by the power of empathy and the promise of redemption. Lily stepped forward, her heart steady and her purpose clear. The cottage door, twisted as the trees that surrounded it, stood before her, the entry to the heart of the curse. With a gentle push, she opened it, stepping into the unknown, ready to face the witch. And she hoped to end the cycle of pain and mistrust that had ensnared them all. Inside the witch's lair, the air was thick with magic, a tangible presence that wrapped around Lily like a cloak. The cottage was cluttered with artifacts of power and mystery, shelves lined with jars and bottles, each containing whispers of spells long forgotten. At the center of this chaos stood the witch, her back to Lily, her posture one of weary resignation rather than menace. "You've come," the witch spoke without turning, her voice a mixture of surprise and inevitability. The child of Veridia, armed with nothing but courage and the hope of healing. Lily stepped forward, her heart pounding in her chest, not with fear, but with the weight of the moment upon her. "I have come to ask you to lift the curse," she said, her voice steady, "but not as an adversary. I come as someone who seeks to understand, to heal the hurt that has led us here." The witch turned then, and Lily saw not a monster, but a woman marked by years of solitude and sorrow. Her eyes, reflecting the moonlight that filtered through the windows, held depths of pain that Lily could scarcely comprehend. "Why?" the witch asked, a single word laden with the weight of years. "Why would you, after all I've done, offer me anything but hatred?" Lily took a deep breath, remembering the vision granted by the Lake of Whispers of a heart long broken. "Because I have seen the pain that drives you," she replied. "The reflections lie not just in the mirrors of Veridia, but in the way we see each other. Your curse was a cry of anguish, heard but not understood. I wish to offer understanding, compassion, and a chance for redemption for both of us." A silence fell between them, profound and stretching. Then, slowly, the witch lowered her gaze, the barriers around her heart beginning to crumble. "In my anger, I sought to make others feel the isolation I endured," the witch confessed, her voice a mere whisper. "But in doing so, I only deepened my own solitude. Your offer, it is more than I have dared to hope for." Lily stepped closer, extending her hand. "Together, we can end the curse. Let us heal the wounds of the past, not with magic, but with something stronger, forgiveness and understanding. This is my vow, under the moon's witness. Will you join me in this promise?" For a moment, the world seemed to hold its breath, the fate of Veridia hanging in the balance. Then, tentatively, the witch reached out, her hand clasping Lily's. "I will," she said, the vow sealing their newfound covenant. Magic, pure and bright, filled the room, emanating from their joined hands. It spread outwards, weaving through the kingdom, lifting the curse that had plagued Veridia. Mirrors cleared, revealing true reflections once more, and with them, the truth that had been obscured by fear and misunderstanding. As dawn broke, the witch's lair transformed, the shadows receding, revealing a home rather than a haven of darkness. The witch herself began to change, the years of bitterness and isolation falling away, revealing the person she had once been, healed by the promise of a new beginning. Lily and the witch emerged from the cottage at sunrise, stepping into a world reborn. The curse was lifted, but their work was just beginning. Together, they would teach Veridia the lessons of the curse, of the importance of empathy, understanding, and the courage to see beyond one's own pain. The kingdom rejoiced, not just for the return of their true reflections, but for the deeper understanding that had been fostered in the heart of their crisis. Lily, once a simple girl from the edge of the kingdom, had become a beacon of hope, her quest for truth a testament to the power of compassion over conflict. And as for the witch, no longer a harbinger of despair, but a symbol of redemption, she found a new purpose, aiding Lily in weaving a new tapestry for Veridia, one threaded with the colors of unity and peace. Thus, under the light of a new dawn, Veridia stood transformed, its future forever altered by the moonlit promise made in the heart of darkness, a promise of healing, understanding, and a shared path towards a brighter tomorrow. Chapter 3: Restoring Reflections. Within the castle's highest tower, shrouded in the lore of ages, rested the magical mirror, its surface as serene as a still lake, yet bound by a silence that spoke of untold power. The king, having witnessed the transformation that dawned upon his kingdom, awaited their arrival with a mix of hope and awe. Lily, you have returned, not just with the promise of a cure, but with the very source of our salvation, the king proclaimed, his voice resonant with gratitude. He led them to the mirror, its presence a testament to the wisdom of the ancients who had crafted it. The mirror, the king began, his eyes reflecting its shimmering surface, is not merely an object of reflection. It is a vessel of truth, designed to reveal the essence of one's heart. Yet its magic has lain dormant, waiting for the true reflection to awaken its power. Lily, her gaze fixed upon the mirror, felt a pull, an unspoken connection that resonated deep within her soul. The witch, standing by her side, whispered, "The curse I cast was one of falsehood, of reflections marred by the shadows of doubt and fear. This mirror, it holds the key to restoring what was lost, the truth that lies beyond the surface, the truth of our hearts. The king nodded solemnly. But the magic requires a true reflection, one that embodies the purity and courage to face the truth, to embrace it. Lily, throughout your journey, you have shown not just bravery, but the willingness to see beyond the veils of deception, to understand and forgive. Stepping forward, Lily approached the mirror, her heart a beacon of the lessons learned and the bonds forged. The witch, her presence a symbol of the journey from darkness to light, placed a reassuring hand on Lily's shoulder. As Lily looked into the mirror, she did not see the reflection of herself alone, but the amalgamation of her experiences, the faces of those she had touched and changed, the witch included. It was a reflection of growth, of healing, and unity. With a deep breath, Lily spoke, her voice a whisper, yet carrying the weight of her conviction. Let the truth be our reflection, the mirror responded, its surface rippling like water touched by a gentle breeze. A light, pure and blinding, burst forth, enveloping Lily, the witch, and the entire kingdom. It was as if the very essence of Veridia was being bathed in clarity, washing away the remnants of the curse, restoring the true reflections of its people. When the light receded, a profound silence followed, not of absence, but of peace. The mirror, now glowing with a soft light, stood as a beacon of the power of truth, its magic fully awakened by Lily's true reflection. The king, tears of joy glistening in his eyes, embraced Lily and the witch. Today, you have not just restored our reflections, but our very souls. You have shown us that the truth is not something to be feared, but embraced, for it is the foundation upon which we build our future. The kingdom of Veridia, once ensnared in the web of deceit, now stood renewed, its people united by the understanding and compassion that Lily and the witch had woven into the fabric of their society. The magical mirror, no longer a silent guardian, became a symbol of the journey towards truth, a reminder of the day when the reflections were restored, not just in glass, but in the hearts of all. With the dawn of a new day in Veridia, the kingdom awakened to a world free of the curse that had long shadowed their hearts. Yet, as the sun climbed higher, it cast light not only on the beauty of their renewed land, but also on the challenges that lay ahead. The curse was lifted, but the task of mending the rifts it had created remained. Lily, whose journey had transformed her from a simple villager to the beacon of hope for Veridia, stood before her people, not as a ruler, but as a guide. Beside her, the witch, once feared and reviled, now now shared in the purpose of healing the kingdom's wounds. Together, they faced the challenge of truth, not the simple truth of reflections, but the deeper truths of forgiveness, understanding, and rebuilding trust. The first days were filled with joyous reunions and tearful apologies as friends and families, long estranged by misunderstandings wrought by the curse, came together. The air was thick with the promise of new beginnings, yet beneath the surface, old doubts lingered. The falsehoods had been stripped away, but they left behind questions that tugged at the hearts of the people. How could they trust the reflections they now saw? How could they be sure that the shadows would not return? Lily and the witch, understanding the fragility of this newfound peace, embarked on a journey through the kingdom. They visited every village, every homestead, sharing their story and the lessons learned from their quest. They spoke of the power of truth, not just the truth seen in mirrors, but the truth spoken from the heart. They taught that understanding was a bridge that could span the widest divide, and forgiveness, a balm that could heal the deepest wound. Yet, the greatest challenge they faced was not in the hearts of the people, but within the walls of the castle. The king, who had welcomed them as heroes, found himself grappling with the legacy of the curse. Under its influence, decisions had been made, actions taken, that now, in the light of truth, required reconciliation. The king, guided by Lily's wisdom and the witch's counsel, opened his court to the people, inviting them to speak their grievances, to share their stories of pain and loss. This act of openness, unprecedented in the history of Veridia, was met with skepticism by some. But as the days passed, it became a forum for healing. The king listened, truly listened, and in doing so, showed his people the strength found in vulnerability. With each story shared, the walls built by years of deceit and misunderstanding began to crumble, replaced by the foundations of a community reborn in trust and mutual respect. The witch, once the source of their fear, became a symbol of the possibility of change. Her transformation from a harbinger of darkness to a bringer of light inspired those who had lost their way, who believed themselves beyond redemption. Through acts of kindness, small and large, she wove herself into the fabric of the kingdom. Her story a testament to the power of second chances. Lily, for her part, continued to be the guiding light of Veridia. Her journey, which had begun with a single step into the unknown, had led her people back to themselves. She taught them that the truth was something to be cherished, not feared, that honesty was the key to understanding, and understanding the key to peace. As the seasons turned, Veridia grew stronger. its people united not by the memory of the curse, but by the lessons of the journey beyond it. The challenge of truth, formidable though it was, had been met with courage, compassion, and the unwavering belief in the possibility of renewal. In the weeks following the lifting of the curse, Veridia flourished under the canopy of newfound hope. The kingdom, once veiled in the shadows of deceit, now basked in the light of truth, its people embracing the lessons of understanding and compassion. However, the roots of old grievances run deep, and even the most nourishing rain cannot wash away the scars of the past overnight. As the initial euphoria of reconciliation waned, the seeds of unresolved conflicts, long buried under the weight of the witch's curse, began to sprout once more. Whispers of discontent stirred like leaves in the wind, as some in Veridia found the reflection of truth harder to gaze upon than they had anticipated. The honesty that had freed them also laid bare the hurts and betrayals that had been easy to blame on the curse, but now stood naked in the light of personal accountability. The king, in his wisdom, had anticipated such trials, yet, knowing they would come, did not ease their impact. A particular incident ignited the smoldering tensions, a dispute between two neighboring villages over land rights, a disagreement that had festered into a feud under the curse's influence. With the return of true reflections, the issue resurfaced, its roots tangled in years of mistrust and resentment. Lily and the witch, each in their own way, stepped forward to mediate. But they found themselves navigating a thicket of anger and bitterness that defied simple solutions. The confrontation reached its peak in the great hall of the castle, where the disputing parties gathered, their grievances laid bare before the king, Lily, and the witch. The air was thick with tension, words sharp as thorns flying back and forth, each accusation a reminder of the delicate fabric of peace that now seemed perilously close to unraveling. It was in this moment of crisis that Lily rose, her voice cutting through the cacophony like a beacon of clarity. Peace is not the absence of conflict, she began, her gaze sweeping over the assembled crowd, but the courage to face it, to listen, and to understand. We have been given a second chance, not just to see our true reflections, but to reflect on our truths. The path to healing is not through denying our pain, but through acknowledging it and working together to mend the rifts. The witch, standing beside Lily, added her voice, its timbre rich with the wisdom of her own transformation. I, who have known the depths of isolation and regret, can testify to the power of forgiveness. It is a strength, not a weakness, to offer and accepted. This land, scarred by my actions, has shown me mercy, and in that mercy, I have found redemption. Silence followed their words, a profound stillness that allowed the weight of their message to settle in the hearts of those present. It was a turning point, a recognition that while the curse had been lifted, the true work of rebuilding Veridia lay in the hands of its people, in their capacity to embrace honesty, understanding, and forgiveness. The dispute was resolved, not in that moment, but in the days that followed, as the villages came together to find a common ground, guided by the principles that Lily and the witch had espoused. It was a hard-won victory, a testament to the strength of Veridia's commitment to its new path. The confrontation, though resolved, served as a reminder to all of Veridia that peace is a garden that requires constant tending. The seeds of truth and understanding, once sown, must be nurtured with patience and care, for only then can they grow into the enduring bonds of community and harmony. In the wake of the confrontation that had tested the resolve of its people, Veridia found itself at a crossroads. The kingdom, having navigated the treacherous waters of discord, emerged with a newfound appreciation for the power of honesty. It was a lesson hard learned, a truth that, while sometimes uncomfortable, served as the bedrock for a future of unity and strength. Lily, with the wisdom of one who had journeyed through the darkest forests and faced the reflections of her deepest fears, became the embodiment of this truth. She traveled throughout the kingdom, not as a hero basking in her triumphs, but as a teacher, sharing the insights that had illuminated her path. She spoke of honesty not as a weapon to wield in judgment, but as a bridge to understanding, a means to foster trust and deepen connections. The witch, whose transformation from a figure of fear to one of healing had inspired many, joined Lily in this endeavor. Together, they held gatherings, inviting people to share their stories, their vulnerabilities, their truths. These meetings, once small and intimate, grew in number and size, becoming forums for dialogue and reconciliation. Through the sharing of personal narratives, the people of Veridia discovered the multifaceted nature of truth, the way it could wound, but also heal, divide, but also unite. One such gathering saw the resolution of a long-standing feud between two families, a bitterness that had endured generations. It was a testament to the power of honesty, as each side laid bare their grievances, not to apportion blame, but to seek understanding. The process was not easy. Tears were shed, and voices trembled with emotion. Yet, beneath the surface of pain, a common desire emerged, a longing for peace and the willingness to forge a new beginning. The king, witnessing the transformative effect of these gatherings, instituted a yearly tradition known as the Day of Reflection. On this day, every citizen of Veridia was encouraged to speak their truth, to share their stories with others. It became a celebration of honesty, a reaffirmation of the kingdom's commitment to transparency and understanding. As Veridia embraced the power of honesty, it began to rebuild not just the bonds between its people, but the very foundation of the kingdom itself. Trust, once fractured, was slowly mended, and with it, the strength of the community grew. The people learned that honesty, while it could expose vulnerabilities, also highlighted the common humanity that bound them together. Lily and the witch, through their teachings, showed that honesty was not merely about speaking the truth, but about listening with an open heart. They demonstrated that understanding could only be achieved when one was willing to hear the truths of others, to acknowledge them, and to respect them. The power of honesty, Veridia discovered, lay not in the revelation of secrets, but in the willingness to engage with those revelations with empathy and compassion. It was a force that could illuminate the darkest corners, dispel the lingering shadows of mistrust, and guide the kingdom towards a brighter future. As the seasons changed and the first leaves of autumn began to fall, Veridia stood as a testament to the enduring power of honesty. It was a kingdom transformed, a place where the reflections in the mirror were not just images of individuals, but the collective portrait of a community united in its diversity, strengthened by its commitment to truth, and emboldened by the courage to face it together. In the heart of Veridia, where the curse had once cast its longest shadow, a remarkable transformation unfolded, not of magic, but of spirit. The witch, once the architect of the kingdom's despair, became its most unexpected source of healing. Her journey from outcast to guardian wove a new legend into the tapestry of Veridia's history, a story of redemption that touched the heart of every soul within the kingdom. The witch's transformation began with small, almost imperceptible acts of kindness. She tended the gardens that bordered the villages, infusing them with a touch of magic that made the flowers bloom with unprecedented vibrancy. She wandered the streets, offering remedies to the ailing. Her potions no longer feared, but welcomed as gifts of healing. With each act, the walls of suspicion and fear that had once isolated her crumbled, revealing the person beneath the legend, a woman whose heart, though once hardened by hurt, now sought to mend the wounds she had inflicted. but it was the sharing of her story that truly bridged the chasm between her and the people of Veridia. At Lily's urging, the witch stood before the gathered citizens on the day of reflection, her presence a testament to the courage required to confront one's past. Her voice, tinged with the sorrow of lessons learned too late, carried across the silent crowd, weaving a tale of loss, loneliness, and the desperate desire for connection that had driven her to curse the kingdom she had once loved. I stand before you, not to seek absolution for my past, but to share the journey that has brought me here, she began, her eyes reflecting the depth of her transformation. The curse I cast was born of pain, a reflection of my own shattered heart. But through the compassion and understanding shown to me, I have found a new purpose, a chance to right the wrongs of my making. As she spoke, the people of Veridia saw not a villain, but a fellow soul who had strayed from the path, her mistakes a mirror to their own fears and failings. They listened, and in listening, they learned not only of the witch's pain, but of their capacity for forgiveness, for seeing beyond the deeds to the person beneath. The day of reflection became a turning point, not only for the witch, but for all of Veridia. The festival that followed, once a mere celebration of the curse's end, transformed into a genuine expression of the kingdom's unity and strength. The witch, no longer a figure of fear, was embraced as a member of the community, her knowledge and powers a boon to the land she'd once harmed. In the seasons that followed, the witch took on the role of a mentor, guiding those with gifts of magic to use their powers for the good of all. Under her tutelage, a new generation of healers and protectors arose, their abilities guided by the principles of empathy and service that had redeemed their teacher. The witch's redemption was not a story of erasing the past, but of learning from it, of using its lessons to forge a better future. Through her journey, Veridia learned the true power of forgiveness, not as a sign of weakness, but as an act of profound strength, a force capable of transforming the deepest darkness into light. As the witch found her place among the people of Veridia, she became a living symbol of the kingdom's rebirth, a reminder that no one is beyond the reach of forgiveness, and that redemption is possible for all who seek it with a genuine heart. As the first light of dawn crested the horizon, casting a golden glow over the kingdom of Veridia, the air was alive with anticipation. This day was not like others. It was the culmination of a journey that had tested the mettle of every soul within the kingdom's bounds. A journey from darkness into light, from division to unity. Today, Veridia was to celebrate not just the lifting of a curse, but the dawning of a new era, one rooted deeply in the principles of honesty, compassion, and collective well-being. The festival, named the Celebration of Reflections, was to be the grandest Veridia had ever seen. It was a manifestation of the kingdom's renewal, a tangible expression of the joy and unity that had blossomed in the wake of trials faced and overcome. The streets of every village, town, and city were adorned with ribbons and flowers, their colors vibrant against the stone and thatch. Markets overflowed with produce and crafts, the work of hands guided by hearts full of hope and joy. At the heart of the celebration was the castle, its gates thrown wide in a gesture of openness and trust. The king, Lily, and the witch stood side by side, a trio that symbolized the journey Veridia had undertaken. They greeted each citizen with warmth, their presence a reminder of the lessons learned and the future they were building together. Lily, whose courage had lit the path through the darkest woods, spoke to the gathered masses, her voice carrying across the silent crowd. Today, we celebrate not just the end of a curse, but the beginning of understanding. We have seen what can be achieved when we stand together, united by honesty and compassion. Let this day mark not the end of our journey, but the continuation of our commitment to each other and to the well-being of our kingdom. The witch, once feared, now regarded with respect and gratitude, offered her own words. I stand before you, a testament to the power of forgiveness and the possibility of change. Let our celebration today be a reflection of the light we can create when we choose to see not just with our eyes, but with our hearts. As the speeches ended, the air filled with music, a melody that seemed to weave together the many threads of Veridia's story into a tapestry of sound. Dancers took to the streets, their movements a celebration of life and renewal, while storytellers shared tales of the kingdom's past, present, and hopes for the future. The highlight of the festival was the unveiling of a new monument in the castle's garden, a mirror not of glass, but of water, its surface calm and inviting. It was a symbol of the kingdom's journey, a place where citizens could see not just their reflections, but remember the importance of reflecting on their actions and their impact on others. As night fell, the sky ablaze with stars, lanterns were released into the sky, each one carrying a wish for the future. It was a breathtaking sight, the lanterns floating upward, their light a mirror of the hope that burned in the hearts of all who watched. Veridia, united in celebration, stood on the threshold of a new era. the lessons of the past, of honesty, compassion, and the courage to face the truth, illuminated the path forward. The kingdom rejoiced, not just in the joy of the moment, but in the promise of tomorrow, a promise built on the foundation of understanding and the collective well-being of its people. And so, as the lanterns drifted into the night, Veridia looked to the future, its heart full of hope. The kingdom, reborn through the power of reflection, stood ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead, guided by the light of the lessons learned and the strength found in unity. Thus concludes the tale of Veridia, a kingdom that discovered its true strength lies not in the magic of mirrors, but in the magic found within the hearts of its people. A magic fueled by honesty, compassion, and an unwavering commitment to each other.